Hi Libra, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. I'm ever so sorry that I'm a few days late in this reading. Haven't been too well, just trying to recover and stuff, and I've had a lot of personal readings that have come in that have needed to be gotten done, as it were, if that's the right grammar to use. Today is your September, or the rest of September, reading. It's an interesting one. If any of you guys would like a reading with me, go to www.carolsuniverse.co.uk. Okay, let's make a start on your reading. Cards have been drawn prior. You know, it's an interesting month for you guys because what I love about the tarot is that it can just really tell a story about a particular situation. And sometimes it's not always the story that we want to hear, but this is the beauty of the tarot, that it's honest with us and it's true and it's real. Your advice card for the month is the Five of Swords. And I feel that, you know, the Five of Swords is a pretty kind of ambiguous card because what it does is it speaks of a situation between three people where one has won out at the cost of two. If you were to take this literally, judging by the pictures on the cards. But it's also a card that in its metaphorical state really talks about a victory. And I feel that this victory for some people will be well won, but it can also talk about bitching. It can talk about gossiping. So you get this, say for example you had a Queen of Cups. Say for example you had, and this card figures in your reading, but I'm just showing you an example. Say you have a High Priestess and then you got Five of Swords. It could be somebody who's trying to ignore somebody who's trying to hurt them, for example. So by words, by their ideas. If you get a card like the High Priestess that looks straight on, because she looks straight on, often this can be a card where somebody's trying to ignore someone or ignore something, or they're not paying attention. And this High Priestess doesn't pay attention. I'll just give you an example, because the High Priestess is actually in your group of 8 cards for the reading for the month. This is your advice card. So sometimes this can be the card that suggests that you have a battle on your hands. It can, you know, it just depends on where you are or who you are in this reading. If we were to look at it as a situation between you, Libra, and others, it can suggest that you win a battle. And I think that you do win a battle. Really what this card is saying is that you win over your adversaries. So the adversaries are the two people walking away in the background. However, this card is ambiguous like much of the tarot is, Libra, because really what it's saying is, you know, this person here, you can see that they're turning back and they've got a smug look on their face. Okay, so you can see that this person is feeling rather quite smug and self-satisfied at their victory. So this is why this card can sometimes get a bit of a bad rap, because it's suggestive that you've got opponents, and these opponents probably don't have your best interests at heart. Sometimes this card indicates mind games that people play with one another. It's a card essentially that's based on the powerful and the powerless. Somebody who's taking advantage of a situation, someone who's being a bit cheeky, somebody who's talking behind your back, somebody, as I've said, who's bitching. But it's advice for the month. Looking at the cards here, I feel that you kind of get your own back on someone or something. This can also be the card that suggests that you overcome doubts and fears, because if we were to look at swords as being ideas, well, what do ideas do? Ideas can either inspire us or they can make us feel quite fearful. So sometimes when you get the Five of Swords, this card can simply mean, well, because the swords represent the idea, forget the people. The people just show what they're doing with the swords. It can show that the ideas that you have or situations that you may have struggled with are passing, because the swords on the ground represent that there is now the ending of a situation in which maybe you have felt quite doubtful of. Sometimes this can mean giving up as well. I've often seen this Five of Swords come up in a reading for someone who's given up on a situation, along with something like the Ten of Swords can mean to give up as well. Anywhere that you sometimes see a sword being put down, it means to give up or give up on a fight. So I feel that for some of you guys in the month of September, Libra, there is, you know, if you are the guys here that are walking away, I feel that you still have your victory, because it means I'm not willing to engage anymore in a fight with you. I'm giving up on this and I'm letting it go because it's futile. Because also the premise of the Five of Swords is to engage in fights that really shouldn't have taken place in the first place, because it's a kind of empty victory. You might feel good for a moment, but in the long term, is it actually going to make you feel good? Did you actually win anything amazing from it? Did it actually, have a life-changing event or a life-changing impact on you? And sometimes it doesn't, because it's a pip card, and pip cards represent the everyday situations that we go through. So this card can represent office gossip, for example. So you go into an office, you're dealing with assholes, and this can be the people that you're dealing with sometimes in an office. But does it, or should it, it can have a long-lasting effect on you, especially if it's coupled with, I don't know, something like the devil or some nasty card. We've got the devil card sitting right here. But I feel that the advice card is, for some of you guys, that either you should walk away from a situation and you should give people their empty victories. And a lot of people will disagree with me on that stance. But I've been in situations, Libra, where I have fought and fought and fought to the death to stand up for what I believed was right. And it didn't really get me anywhere. And what I should have probably really done was just said, fuck yeah, I'll leave you guys to it and I'm going to kind of move on. But this can also, I feel either way, whether you are the people who are walking away or whether you're the person with the sword, you win. I feel it's a month for winning for you guys, because your general energy is showing us the Three of Cups and strength. And that's a beautiful combination for me when I see that combination. Because the Three of Cups, we could look at this general energy for the month in two ways, and it would still fit in with that Five of Swords as your advice card. So in one way, we could look at the Three of Cups and say, Three of Cups, remember the tarot is ambiguous. So it never stands for what you think it stands for. It's never that you're going to get with one card one meaning. It can't. And also, when you're reading tarot, Libra, never go with what you just think a standard meaning means, because it doesn't. Three of Cups can be, for example, gossip. Again, it can represent something. It's not far off if you're looking at adversaries, the Five of Swords, because both cards can represent bitching. Okay, so when you get a Three of Cups, this can be a group of females, for example, who are gossiping or who are celebrating a victory over another. So with the Strength card, the general energy might mean, for some of you guys, you're going to need to restrain from getting involved in gossip, from getting involved in petty bullshit with the Three of Cups. Because what does the Strength card mean? Well, we've got a lady here, and she's holding a lion's mouth. Now, the lion's mouth, this is Leo the lion, and the lady is named Strength. Okay, now she's named Strength for a reason, and that is that she's overcoming an obstacle. What's the obstacle in the card, Libra? The obstacle in the card, Libra, is the lion. Now, the lion can represent any obstacle that you think about, any obstacle that you might be going through. Because really what this card is saying is that you need to have inner strength. The Strength card is really based on a softly approach. So if you want to overcome an obstacle, it's saying that you need to kind of take the softly approach with it. Don't go in all guns blazing. Just go very gently, tread very gently, because softly will win the race rather than shouting your mouth off at a situation. So if you're dealing with difficult people, or people who want to gossip about you, or people who want to, give you jip on a daily basis in the month of September, then the Strength card is saying as the general energy, you'll overcome this. Victory is yours because you knew how to intrinsically deal with the situation, which wasn't to snap back. If that lady let that lion from her hands, he might just go gallivanting all over the place and screaming and roar. Well, lions don't scream, but they roar. So he might just go off at a tangent and roar in anger. This card can mean control your anger, because the lion is a metaphor for our anger, for our impulses, for our rage. Okay, so I often see the lion as being the metaphor for what goes on inside of a human being. And the Strength, the lady who is named Strength, I see as a metaphor for our higher consciousness, for our intuition telling us to hold back on a situation. This is why sometimes I can see this card meaning keep your mouth shut, because the lady is closing the lion's mouth. Her mouth isn't open, but the lion's mouth is. And the lion's mouth stands for your rage, your anger. So Strength means, with that lion for me as well, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Hold back. Restrain yourself, because it is the card of self-restraint. So for some of you guys, you might be self-restraining yourself as an energy over the next few weeks in September, holding back, holding your rage back, maybe over a group of individuals. And therefore, the advice card is perhaps to walk away from a fight. Let people have their empty little victories, because it doesn't really matter in the long run. It's just a silly little victory that somebody will, celebrate in. But the long-term effects really aren't that great. And it doesn't mean that they are going to be celebrated forever. They've just got their little victory for that moment in time. How I'm looking at the Three of Cups and Strength again is that Three of Cups often means a successful outcome. So you get somebody that comes for a reading on career, right? And you get this Three of Cups in an outcome position. It means, yeah, there's success coming to you. It's going to be a successful outcome. You might just get the job with the Three of Cups. And therefore, you've overcome obstacles. So if there are successful outcomes, and I do feel either way we want to look at these combinations, to me it does indicate successful outcomes because you've overcome an obstacle. So if we look at Three of Cups, successful outcome because Strength says you've overcome an obstacle. So you've learned how to deal with a situation. You'll have success with the Three of Cups because with the Strength card, you learn how to deal with an obstacle. And that could be in the advice card. The advice for the month being, you've learned to deal with an obstacle, whatever that obstacle might be. Therefore, no matter how you want to see it, it could be with the Five of Swords, that you might not give in to others. It might not mean that you're in a situation where you're needing to kind of put the swords down and give in. It might simply mean that this is all of you, all three characters. You walk away from a situation, lay down your swords. Therefore, with the person who stands with the sword, you are the victor. So it could be that you are all three people. But I do see in the month of September, Libra, potentially that, yeah, you're overcoming an obstacle, you're overcoming difficulties either by a mode of self-restraint or you've overcome something, and it's great. The first of the 8 cards that we see are the Four of Swords and the Devil. Now, the Four of Swords is a card about going inward, and it's a time to reflect. It might also be that you need some peace and you need some healing. You need to heal. You need to find that place where you can just hide away and just go into prayer mode. It could also be for some of you guys, you might be praying for a miracle in the month of September, because the Four of Swords can also be the card that you're praying to a higher being, higher consciousness, asking for some form of help. It seems to be over this Devil. So you might have a domineering boss or a domineering person. Often when you get the Devil, it means somebody who's quite strong, quite powerful, who has control. This can also be the ego, I find, with the Devil, because the Devil is all to do with external situations, shallow situations. Well, how would we describe the ego, Libra? Hope you guys can see me. It's getting a little bit dark now. Let me see if I can turn up my lamp. Okay, that's a little bit lighter. So, the Devil to me can be the ego, because for me it's the need to control situations. So for some of you guys, it could be somebody that you're dealing with who has a massive ego and has a need to try and control you. And it could be that you need to take time out with that Four of Swords from this individual. But I do feel that there are, it's either someone you're dealing with or it's yourself. Because the Devil, I feel, can be our own egos that stand in the way of what we know to be right and wrong. Because the Devil represents a devil who looks to restrain others. And what do we do when we're looking to restrain or hold on to certain things? Usually it can be the ego why we don't want to let go. Either because of what other people think, how it's going to come across to certain people, family, friends, that type of thing, our standing in the world, how we're coming across to others. So it's a fear really of letting go sometimes with this Devil card, which I feel is intrinsically based or, connected with the human ego. And what does the human ego do? The human ego says, I need to be this or I need to be that because other people see me as this or that. Or I need to kind of uphold this image. Devil can also be to do with image as well. Okay, you get Devil in there's something like the Empress, for example. It can be an obsession with one's own outer beauty, for example, because we know that the Devil is to do with an obsessional card, and we also know that the Empress is to do with beauty, especially external beauty. So sometimes it can be an obsession with one's own outside appearance. So why not have an obsession with our own ego and our own sense of needing to hold on to things because we're afraid to let them go? So for some of you guys, it will be that you need to relinquish this with the Four of Swords, and maybe you're going through some sort of process where you're trying to do that, which is why your general energy is that there is a successful outcome in overcoming an obstacle. It can be anything really, as I say with all of my readings. It can be, you know, if I'm looking at this in a very spiritual light, then for some of you guys, this is the ego. Because Strength card to me can mean restraining the ego. We know that lions are showmen. They're show animals. They walk around the jungle, throwing their weight around. That's why they're called the king of the jungle. And sometimes for me, with the Strength card, because it's also Leo the lion. And what is Leo? Leo is representative of the Sun Major Arcana card. So sometimes when you get the Sun Major Arcana card, that actual card is related to the ego, standing out, being the centre of attention. And so when I look at this woman restraining Strength, which is your inner strength, restraining Leo the lion, but Leo, it is the need to restrain our own egos. So this Strength card can mean inner strength, softly approach in order to restrain our own egos. And for some of you guys, it might be that with the Three of Cups, even though the Three of Cups can sometimes in a way be seen as the card of ego because it's the external, partying, enjoying, being the centre of attention, showing off, for example, that type of thing. But for some reason, I feel with these cards, it's almost like there is a need to restrain something going on with you guys, whether it's externally, people around you, whether it's your own ego, whether it's something that's going on with you. There is a need to restrain something here, maybe even restraining somebody else who has an ego, because Leo the lion can obviously be somebody else. So for some of you guys, you might be bringing somebody to heel, somebody who has an enormous ego, somebody who thinks that they are cock of the walk, that type of thing. And there is celebration in you doing that. And how do you do that? Well, Four of Swords, prayer, inward thinking, analysis, not fighting. When you get the Four of Swords, this person lays down their sword here because they're not willing to go on and fight. They're taking a pause and a break. So it's taking a break from the devil. Whether that's your own ego or whether that's somebody outside of yourself. I see in the month of September you're looking to take a break from this particular individual. Now, around this there may be some loss because we do have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups energy represents whereby 3 cups are on the floor. They're no longer active. So 3 of Cups, we know the Three of Cups represents friendships. So sometimes this relates to sadness over broken friendships, for example. Okay? So for some of you guys, it might be that you have a group of friends. They might be gossipy. They might not be that nice. Even though we don't have that in the reverse, so what? You can still be restraining yourself or taking yourself out of a group of people here. Because this lady holds back. Whilst these people are full with the joys of life. So it might be that you hold yourself back on certain friendships. Maybe because they're toxic, maybe they're no good for you, because we do have the Devil card here, and we do have you taking a break from the devil. We know this is you, Libra, because you're swords. You're showing up here, and you're showing up here. So for some of you guys, it might be that you're looking literally to leave a job, potentially. Okay? Or you're looking to leave a particular group of people or a situation behind that no longer serves you. Because we do have, after this break with the devil, loss, sadness coming in. Sadness over maybe broken friendship. Remember, the Three of Cups, when it's in the reverse, or the Three of Cups because they're on the floor, to me this means the cup is empty now. No more friendship, no more happy times with this. So you might be sad. It could be either over a way that you used to live. It could be over a friendship. It could be over a habit you had. Because remember, the Devil card can mean about patterns that are unhealthy. Things that we do that are unhealthy. So drink, drugs, going out partying every night, buying loads of stuff. Okay? So for some of you guys, yes. Pause on patterns of behaviour that are no longer good for you. But also a pause on the devil. Somebody who might be quite domineering. Somebody who might have a huge ego. This is the ego here you might be looking to suppress around a group of people. Three of Cups. holding back, restraining yourself maybe from indulging in too much partying, too much this, too much that, whatever the case might be. There is loss around this. However, we have the Ace of Pentacles that shows up. Now, for some of you guys, if you do have friendships that have not worked out, and you're kind of accepting this in the month of September 2016, for some of you guys, I know this can be, because we've got the Five of Cups, which is sadness, and we've got the Ace of Pentacles, which represents spending. So sometimes this collaboration here can be an emotional spending. Some of you guys will look to emotionally maybe do something, okay? Emotionally look for other opportunities in other areas. But it can also mean there might be loss here. However, don't worry too much, because there are other opportunities that you can investigate. It can also be that there is loss here, but you're facing a new realisation. It leaves you open, it leaves you free to actually investigate other opportunities that come to you, for friendships, for work, for this, that, the other, whatever the situation is with you guys this month. The third set of two cards shows the Four of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Now, the Four of Pentacles for me means to restrain. It means to look at what we've got. It's a card that represents security and stability. So even if it was a case of a job situation that you were looking to move out with, it could be that you've already got some savings here. But it can also be that you don't do anything, because we've got two passive cards that show here, Four of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Four of Pentacles is not an active card. We know that Pentacles are passive energy anyway. But Four of Pentacles usually, for me, represent when you've reached a plateau. You're just about okay. But you're choosing not to do anything because this person doesn't want to move out of a comfort zone. And for me, the High Priestess means not to do anything. It means just to sit and wait. So for some of you guys, it might be that if you're moving out of a situation here and a new opportunity comes to you in September, you choose not to really do anything. Maybe you're okay just as you are right now, because you're probably going to be contemplating with that High Priestess moving forward in another direction. And the outcome shows that you do move forward, because we've got a Nine of Cups that shows here. Nine of Cups means to be happy, means to be contented, means to be feeling slightly smug, cat that's got the cream, self-satisfied. And you deserve it, because it looks like you've been through something here. And the Lovers. So if I were to read this as a combination, feeling happy over a path that is chosen, because we know that the Lovers card means choice. Okay? So for some of you guys, it could be a relationship situation. If we've got Three of Cups in terms of relationship, this is good partnerships, good unions, good friendships, but also this is a card. There are certain cards that represent indulgence to me, and Three of Cups is one of them and Nine of Cups is the other, okay? Sometimes this can be superficial relationships, and maybe you're restraining from those things because you're taking a break or taking a pause on things that aren't good for you with the Devil. Therefore, you recognise that though there is loss, maybe even broken friendships with those Three Cups downturned, you'll look at other opportunities with the Ace of Pentacles. You'll take a bit of time out while you muse, while you decide, while you contemplate. But then you'll make a decision that makes you feel very, very happy, quite smug, quite self-satisfied to take a certain path or take a certain direction. It can also be feeling happiness with new relationships that come into your life, because you've got the Lovers card, and the Lovers card can actually mean new relationships that come to us, things that we're attracted to. Okay, so it might be that you, for some of you guys, if you're party people, you go out and you meet other people that you get attracted to. You've given up on something else, but you've entered into something else as well. It's a very good month, I think, Libra. Yes, there is some difficulty to overcome, but I feel that it's almost, looking at the reading, something that you've decided to do for yourself. I really feel that. I feel that it's a decision that you've decided to make for yourself, because you realise that something maybe that you're in currently isn't serving your highest purpose, which is why it seems that you're taking a break from the Devil. Because the Devil, as I've said, it can be a dominant individual. It can be somebody who is quite, what's the word? I can only say dominant. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say here. But somebody who's quite forceful. Somebody who's trying to keep you via a chain and ball. But you need a break from this, it would seem. Because it's unhealthy. And it's not very wise. And it's not right. It's certainly where you're concerned, because you're the Four of Swords here that needs to take a break from this very fiery and very all-consuming energy with the Devil card. Yes, you feel lost, you feel sad. Because maybe this was something that you were attached to, because remember the Devil means to be very, very tempted around a situation. But I feel that it's almost like you need a break from temptation if it's a tempting situation, if it's something you can't let go of. The Devil is a very strong card when it talks about situations, especially when it comes to relationships. You get the Devil card for a relationship in the outcome, and it's a relationship that you're really kind of uncomfortable with, you're fucked. Because it means that it's difficult to let go with that card. I have seen this in a lot of readings that I've done for clients, where that Devil comes in an outcome. And they're asking me questions about a relationship and they don't like the relationship and this, that and the other, and you get the Devil. It means it's going to be very difficult to let go. Very difficult. You're fucked with that card. It's not one of my most favourite cards within the tarot. It can be a good card, especially if you're a Capricorn and, for example, you've got kids. It can mean that you keep them on a tight rein. It can mean that you don't want them to get into trouble. So sometimes this card can be a very good card, especially if you're a Capricorn, because Capricorn represents the Devil in the major arcana. So sometimes this card can be excellent to have, especially if you're someone who needs to keep a tight rein on a couple of people via whatever means are necessary. But often this card for me I associate with a negative quality. You need to take a break on something that's consuming you at the moment. And yes, emotional loss comes in with it. However, Ace of Pentacles shows new opportunities. This can also be, for example, there will be a break with the Devil. There's celebration because you've overcome an obstacle. So for some of you guys, you might have been going through a really difficult situation and finally you're out of it. Oh God, it's gone so dark in here. I hope you guys can see me, jeez. Not that that's going to make any difference, but I can hardly see myself on the screen. Bloody hell. Ugh, recording at night is no good. It's not even night, it's just gone a bit dark. But anyway, some of you guys might be celebrating because you've overcome an obstacle with the Strength card and the Three of Cups. It might be that finally you can take a break, you can get some peace from the Devil. Could be a job, for example. Maybe you've been let go, you don't want to be in it anymore, and you're glad finally they've let me go. There is some loss, maybe there's broken friendships, maybe you won't see people again. But then, Ace of Pentacles might show a payout that you get from something that you've lost. You might be being very careful. We know the Four of Pentacles can mean a card of being cautious and careful with what you've got financially wise, whilst you contemplate your next move. But then it seems you're feeling quite happy and content, perhaps over a path that you decide to take going forward, a choice that you make. Therefore, the advice card is, don't worry, you'll overcome any obstacles. If you're the one that's had to walk away, good, because it sees you being in a far better place by the end of September going into October. If you're the person here that's won, it means that you've defeated enemies, you've overcome them. Whatever it is that you see this reading as, Libra, there's definitely victory coming in for you, September, October time. Brilliant, brilliant reading. Okay, that's your reading, guys. Take a look out for your 21 card Gypsy card spread that's coming up. I've just recorded Scorpio and also Aries, okay? That will be coming up very soon. Love, love, love that spread. It's going up on my channel, on my website as a private reading if you want to get one when you see the actual layout. So look and keep your eyes peeled out for that. And thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.